Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Welcome to SGKs.
Welcome to SGK.
Welcome to SGKs
around the world.
Wherever you are.
And in whatever time zone you're in.
Welcome to SGKs around the world.
Welcome to SGKs around the world.
Welcome to SGKs around the world.
Seja bem-vindo a SGK around the world.
We hope you enjoy the session.
We hope you enjoy the session.
A gente espera que você curta a sessão.
We hope you enjoy the session.
Brands don't think enough about the recyclability or the life cycle of the packaging itself. Is it made from recyclable material? What is the recyclability score of the material that they're using? All of these things are very important, and they're also points, right, that the consumer is aware of in today's marketplace.
We learned over the years that when traditional market research have to come up with real good facts on how many consumers would be able to adapt to this solution, would able to really buy it. We are asking for a future vision of consumers, if they have an idea about if they, in a few years' time, in a year's time, are really willing to go for it. But consumers can only give an answer on that question with a mindset that is built on the past, of course. They cannot imagine what they do in a year's time. I can't imagine either what I will do in a year's time, but still, in the traditional way of researching, you ask for what are you going to do in a year's time? Are you buying that product? So when it's really innovative, it's hard for consumers to actually imagine what their behavior will be, and still we are asking them for an answer on this question. So therefore we think it's a pitfall to really rely on that kind of answers, because we often see a lot of real innovative solutions not to be appreciated by clients because the consumers cannot imagine how they will be using it.
One of the biggest hurdles to any sustainable packaging project is really cost, but not just cost, it's also scalability as well. So the scale of your project really matters as well. Quite often when creating sustainable packaging, a lot of the upfront cost is in sort of tailor-making a solution. Quite often we find with innovative solutions, they need to be bespoke to actually the market or to the product itself. So this means that there's quite a high investment up front. And this can be a real challenge for smaller markets or maybe brands that operate in multiple smaller markets where unless they can really achieve that scale, there's a high unit cost involved, and this can really sort of drive up the price of any sustainable packaging project. The other knock-on effect of that is actually market price sensitivity, especially here in Asia. We're dealing with markets where price is an issue, and consumers don't always want to absorb the cost of a more sustainable pack. There are different levels of education in different markets in this region, especially in developing markets where really price is a big driver. And that can mean that, it's very hard to pass on that cost to the consumer because the level of education and sort of governmental support just doesn't exist. And that's a hard thing for them to swallow in kind of emerging markets as well. So quite often you find that basically the cheapest type of packaging is the one that's most affordable and is often the worst for the environment as well.
A hurdle we often see for brand owners is what we call the analysis paralysis. So you spend a lot of time on finding out what's for your brand, your product, the best sustainable improvement. But then you encounter so many different aspects regarding, for instance, stability of the food, what's inside, if it's a food pack, plastic or non-plastic, all kinds of legislation. The more you know, the more difficult it is to make the right choice.
I would say that it's the storytelling aspect for the brand in terms of meeting the consumer's demands around recyclability. This is a terrific opportunity for the brand to extol the hard work that they have put into their overall sustainability program, and it allows them to control the narrative, and it speaks directly to the consumers that are already attached to the brand, but it also is reaching out to consumers that may not have interacted with your brand in the past for whatever reasons. But today, because of the recyclability, sustainability story, you attract new consumers into your brand.
So obviously on a human level, it means the opportunity is for a cleaner and greener world for us all to live in, and it would be really nice if brands were to embrace that as their vision and really their guiding light. But obviously in reality, on a commercial level, it is actually a big opportunity to actually make consumers or new groups of consumers fall in love with your brand, and that's really what's at the heart of this. If you can demonstrate your love for the planet, and that's a shared value with your consumers, they also love the planet, suddenly you have an opportunity to create greater empathy with the consumer base. Once you get into that situation, you'll start to build respect. They'll respect your brand, they'll support your products, and actually they'll become your biggest cheerleaders, and that's really a powerful thing. You also want to be part of the zeitgeist. You don't want to be left out of the conversation on sustainability, and this is quickly becoming table stakes in a lot of markets as well, so you really have to kind of keep up. If you don't keep up, there's a very high chance that maybe your product will be left on the shelf, and nobody wants to be in that situation. Also, watching out for government legislation. As we know, legislation happens very quickly and can be very tough, so you definitely don't want to be caught on the back foot and be left out of that conversation either.
I think that you really have to be clear about your messaging and the transparency of that messaging so that you are not greenwashing what you're doing. And by that I mean you are exaggerating to a degree in terms of what your sustainability efforts are. Because if you're not really walking the walk, right, that you're talking about, the consumer is going to figure that out, and it can really do a lot of damage to your brand. Another thing that I would think about is that not one size fits all. You know, you need to be flexible in terms of how you move forward, and you've got to start moving forward now. This is the time. Everyone has been so nervous in the past in terms of how to try to meet their goals. And there's no longer time to wait, right? We've all seen the reports around climate change and what's happening with our Earth. So now's the time to take action, even if it's just baby steps.
So key considerations. The first one really is, don't wait till legislation hits as well. You've got to plan ahead. Don't just kind of be lazy and wait till somebody changes something and then you've got to react to it. Your lead times will not allow you to do this. By the time you've actually kind of geared up, it'll be too late. The legislation will happen, especially in, say, markets here in Asia, where quite often governments just implement sweeping and quite severe bans on things like plastic overnight. In 2020, Thailand banned plastic bags on the 1st of January with barely 2 months' notice. This completely left manufacturers and retailers high and dry, scrambling for solutions and kind of really hurting their businesses as well. So plan ahead, think about what the end state's going to look like and sort of work your way towards that as well. For example, Australia is currently introducing rolling bans across multiple states, across dozens of different types of plastics. It's happening inconsistently, but it's all kind of moving in the same direction. So really, what's the best strategy there? The best strategy is really just to go straight to zero, because that's where it's going to go at the end of the day. So think ahead, really plan for the kind of the best, or if you like, the worst case scenario, and kind of start thinking about that ahead of time as well.
I think we need to think about what does the package look like on shelf? Is it attractive to the consumer? We're trying to walk a tightrope, right, and fill several different pots at the same time. Is it sexy on the shelf? Does it appeal to them? Is it conveying the sustainability message? And realizing that sustainability is not the only topic, right, that brands have to think about. Bottom line, they need to think about sales. And the packaging that they have put together, is that going to convey the talking points to the consumer that the brand wants to hit? And is it going to assist the brand in greater sales from shelf?
When creating sustainable packaging design, we still have to keep in mind that we have to deliver on the most common criteria that we are used to when developing packaging design. So desirability is key. We have to make sure that the perception of sustainability is done in an appropriate way. We have to make sure that consumers can recognize their brand, can see what is inside, that it's convenient to use. All those common criteria are still relevant also when creating sustainable packaging design. And to make sure that we have delivered on this, we have developed a special tool to actually find out if consumers are on the same path of thinking as we are. Regarding market research, you can imagine that if you are asking consumers, are you interested in buying a sustainable pack? They all will say yes. That's the kind of answer that everybody knows that is expected from them to give that answer. But we want to know, of course, what they actually will do. Will they change their behavior? Will they buy it? And therefore we believe that tools based on neuro research give us a better understanding than traditional tools. So we have developed this scan that's based on implicit association, the desirability scan, and we find out if consumers actually think a packaging design is desirable, which is already quite a thing to get the knowledge of. If a pack really has a sustainable perception, and I will want to emphasize perception, because sustainability is a technical aspect that we can tackle, but if consumers really think it's sustainable, it can be something different. Any brown pack, any brown paper pack is considered as being more sustainable than, for instance, a plastic pack that from a CO2 perspective can be much better. Another aspect that we will research with the desirability tool is the distinctiveness. Distinctiveness is something really important for a brand next to its competitor. And the last aspect that we will research in the desirability scan is actually the commercial value. Are consumers actually buying it, and is it worth making that investment?
So there's also a great opportunity for design here as well, and this is really where the sweet spot between desirability and sustainability really come together. And brands that really embrace that and understand it are going to succeed, because they're actually part of a conversation. They're changing the language of sustainability for the better, and actually kind of educating the marketplace in terms of what good sustainable packaging design actually looks like, how it performs better, is better for the planet, but also looks better at the same time. So developing and evolving that language of design is really critical, and brands actually have a key responsibility to play in actually making that happen.
If a brand owner really wants to find out tangible insights on its packaging, on its packaging process, on product, on logistics, we have a nice tool that is called the Temptainability Matrix. In several aspects of sustainability, desirability, that makes the matrix on 20 cross points. We will judge current processes, current products, and current packs, of course, and see where are the opportunities, the low-hanging fruits, so to say, to make improvements. Another way of finding tangible insights on your pack design, on your current pack, is our sustainability quick scan. It's a way to get, on an easy way, on a fast way, ideas on how to quickly improve. So if you're actually going into the process of making an LCA, product lifecycle analysis, it's costly, it's really good to do, but it's quite an investment and it will take time. And for many brand owners, this is a hurdle to go into a process of making packs more sustainable. So therefore we developed a tool that is much faster, easier and cheaper. And of course it's not as perfect for your long-term investments, but to easily find the low-hanging fruit, this is a really great tool, and it gives you a thorough analysis within a short time on where to find the best ways to improve your pack. To truly understand consumers' perception on sustainable package design, I mentioned before, we have the problem of consumers always giving us the answer that they think they have to give, considering some issue as sustainability is. Everybody knows it's important, so they will tell us, they will go for that. But we have to find out what they really do. And that's difficult because you have a futuristic vision, and then you're going to probe that. If you really have ideas, pack designs, concepts that go really far and are really future driven, we use a kind of a concept car design method. So also the car industry, they have to find out what consumers think about their new cars, but the development of a car design takes really a long time, and by the time the car is ready, trends have changed. So they use the concept cars to find out roughly what kind of acceptance there is with consumers. We do that as well. We have insight-driven concepts that we probe against consumers, not to bring these concepts actually in the real world, to actually produce them and have them on shelf, but to find out what consumer acceptance is. So that's the insight-based concept designs. Another way to find out consumers' perception on sustainable pack design is the desirability scan, which you've mentioned before. Last tool we have is the neurovaluation scan. And this is a scan where we can find out what the brain, it's a neuro-based tool, what the brain accepts as the sweet spot for the price point. So what in fact consumers are really going to pay for a new sustainable solution.
So the big takeout really is to put a plan together and really commit to it, but get started early. That's the key thing. We haven't got time to waste here. Things need to get moving. Speak to your agencies early, because they may be sitting on solutions that you don't know about, or maybe even have solutions ready to roll that you could get to go with straight away. So don't leave it too late. Partner up, start speaking to people, socialize your ideas, and get things going as soon as possible.
Get started. Brands need to get started. A lot of brands have been walking a very slow road, but not taking any action is far worse than taking a slow or small stepped action forward. So everyone's got to start moving forward to help solve, right, this giant conundrum that we all face globally in terms of waste, recyclability, is it from a recycled product, et cetera, et cetera. And the other area of expertise that I think a lot of brands maybe are not aware of would be their agency partners. Agencies today that have sustainability arms are so well versed in what's happening around the world and best practices, looking at best concepts, who could be suppliers to the brand, right, for recyclable products. I mean, some of the stuff that's out there today is just absolutely fantastic. They are coating food with film where the film is actually digestible. There are products now, food products, where the actual container that the food is held in is plant-based, whether it's made from peas or from mushrooms, and those products themselves are 100% biodegradable. There's a lot of really terrific, exciting stuff going on, and I think a lot of brands are just not aware of it because they're not tapping that resource, right, that they have with their agency partner that's helping guide them on this sustainability path.
SGK is one of the founding partners of Pacador Collective, a group of like-minded businesses from across the packaging sector committed to creating more sustainable and desirable packaging solutions. In response to the many challenges our clients face when it comes to creating more sustainable packaging solutions, we have developed 3 tools: the Desirability Scan, the Sustainability Quick Scan, and the Neurovaluation Scan. The Desirability Scan is an online tool to help brands gather key consumer insights into the desirability of their packaging design. Using measurements of subconscious associations, the tool compares a brand's new packaging design either to their existing packaging design or to that of their competitors to help pinpoint drivers to engagement. The Sustainability Quick Scan provides brands with quantified insights into the CO2 footprint of their existing packaging, looking at areas such as materials, volume, and production. Such insights can then be used to explore effective circular strategies, identifying opportunities to create new, more sustainable packaging solutions. The Neurovaluation Scan explores the unconscious decision-making processes of consumers to identify the pricing sweet spot for your brand. What consumers are willing to pay based on value perception. Together, the 3 tools provide strong insights and practical solutions, helping brands to embark upon sustainable packaging projects with ease and security.